together in art, to be together in art and struggle, in community and reflection, and in joy and resistance. Tonight's conversation will be primarily in Spanish with simultaneous interpretation to English. At the bottom of your screen is a button that says interpretation. Please click on the language that you would like to hear, and note that you can mute the original audio. If you're listening to the English channel right now, we recommend that you mute the original audio for now. Hola, hola a todos y bienvenidas al evento anual de NISGUA. La alegría como resistencia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Joy of Resistance at the Trans-territorial Organizing Amidst Global Crisis event. It is an honor to be able to join everybody, to be in community, and we are so pleased in our hearts to be able to be with each and every one of you to mark the end of this year and begin the new one. It is a joy to be here with all of you in thought, in joy, in resistance. Today's event will be carried out mainly in Spanish with simultaneous interpretation into English. At the bottom of your screens, you will see a globe icon. Please choose the language of your preference, and note that you may mute original audio, and given the conversation will be mainly in Spanish, if you're listening in English, we recommend that you mute the original audio.
Ahora empezaremos con la interpretación. Favor de seleccionar su canal. Bueno, mi nombre.
Very well. My name is Bridget Brahan. My pronouns are her or they. I am a biracial woman with long brown hair. I am wearing glasses and a black sweater with a turtleneck. Along with the interpretation, we are also very happy to offer English subtitles and Spanish subtitles. You may access the closed captions in the inside of the Zoom screen or using the link we just placed in the chat. Now, our tech team at NISGUA is ready to go and to help anybody who may need it. You may ask questions in the chat at any given time, and our team will be sending you a direct message. Please keep your Zoom account muted and only speak through the chat. And we want all of you to share with our beautiful community here today, this evening. And as daily and political practice, we would like to extend collective acknowledgement of the indigenous territories that we are occupying. It is very important for our path, for our struggle, to honor with gratitude and strengthen our commitment to those who have been at the forefront of the fight for the defense of the earth for generations now, and whom in many territories continue to be our reference, our guides, to be able to have a good relationship with our earth, with water, with air, and with fire. We ask that you please go to the chat to introduce yourselves and to acknowledge what territory you are in tonight. Personally, I am in occupied territories of the Dijar Confederate Peoples. We continue to take care of different bodies of water through their leadership, such as the Bay and Strawberry Creek. If you'd like to know what occupied territories you're in, please visit the link. If you don't know, there is a link where you can find the territories where you reside. And that should be in the chat. Thank you very much. Now, we are going to start with our presentations, and we are going to nurture our souls with our hearts, with joy, with resistance. We are going to fill our souls with solidarity, with poetry, music, with everything that has to do with joy and resistance. For me, it is a great honor to introduce Rosa Chavez. We have a pre-recorded video by Rosa, And I don't know if Rosa is here with us this evening. If she can raise her hand. Um, I can't see everybody, but I'm so happy to see all of you. Okay, so from what I understand, Rosa is with us somewhere here and she can say hi via chat. But now we do have that video we're going to be putting up from Rosa Chavez. Rosa is a poet. She is a popular educator. She's a Maya Quiche Caxical origin. She has published 5 poetry books, and her work has been broadly shared and translated from Maya Quiche, French, English, Norwegian, amongst others. So introducing Miss Rosa Chavez. My name is Rosa Chavez, and from Ishimuleo, Guatemala, I'd like to send my best greetings to NISGUA and all who are present in this event today, calling to joy from the resistance from the different territories. I'd like to share with each and every one of you 2 poems. The first one as a call out to recover our breath. I invoke the energy of our ancestors, of our grandmothers, of all those who harvested with their bodies, with their hands, life in the present. I breathe deeply the sacred air, filling the vessel of my heart. A drum sounds, joining my body with the drum of the earth. A drum sounds, sounding like lightning, cutting the ties in my body and my memories. The full moon comes and cures my sadness through baths of salt with my sage, with my veins. My veins speak with the language of the plants. In the warmth of the temazcal, I do infusions of herbs and flowers to calm my mind on my articulations. I light my candles with different colors, my incense to blow on the clouds that lay on my chest. I invoke the guardians of the rivers, the guardians of the land, the guardians of the earth. In a city, in a field where I can hear my steps, I speak with the sacred wind. And I call to healing and to call out my truth. The earth receives everything that I wish to give to it, everything I put into it, my joys, my sadness, it transforms it. A drum sounds and I dance, because also dancing we heal. We dance with the living, with the dead, with the old, moving our meat, waking the earth with our feet. And we sing and we recover our voice. We recover our truth. We recover our language. We recover our bodies. We recover our time. We recover our blood. We recover our breath. We recover our freedom. We breathe deeply, and the dignity of the water that runs through our body allows us to flow, and it comes back to our spirit and we are joyful with the rhythm of divinity. I come back to the earth. I come back to the world. Ixchlich mi, inexchilihun. And I close with a very short poem dedicated to children, to the little girl we all have within us, but also to all the children that stands on the defense of the earth. Listen how rain is born. Listen to the planet sing as how women are harvesting water. The whisper of the leaves says your name. Mamita, the earth smiles. Their saliva is filled with flowers and plants and roots with their beautiful wrinkles. It sings, sing, our joyful little heart. Sing, sing the drum of the universe. Now, somewhere, anywhere, in the place where there is no distance, hands of colors protect the seeds. Extend our hands, and there you will see infinite ants drawing life. Close your eyes, and you'll see galaxies, oceans, forests, deserts, silence, darkness, joy with teeth of black corn. Listen how the rain is born. Listen to the planet sing. Wherever it is that you have your home, listen to the planet. Thank you to Rosa. I don't know if she's here, but thank you so much for the air and the water and their poetry. It is my honor to introduce now our next speaker and welcome Oswaldo Martin. I'm sorry. Oswaldo is a mom interpreter with a Chumatan and a student at University for Civil Engineering. He is a founder of a cooperative of mine interpreters that will be sent next year. He's a co-proprietor of the construction company where all mom employees are a part of their family. For everybody listening in English, you know, recommend that you allow original audio. If you have any questions, you have the tech team, but please, yeah, go to interpretation and allow, remove the mute on the original audio. Because we might be speaking Mayan, Quiche. So warm welcome to Oswaldo Martí, who is with us live.
Gracias por la introducción. Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
introduction. My name is Oswaldo. Yo me llamo Oswaldo. أنا Oswaldo Martín. ولقينا تجار القشة جوجين قشة تنم Olone to Oakland, California. I am residing in Chochenyo land of Ohlone territory. And I wanted to ask if I could get permission to share a slideshow that I prepared.
Absolutely. 1 second. All right, you should have permission now, Oswaldo.
Okay, can everyone see?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so wanted to start off with my introduction. I think I've already been introduced. So my name is Oswaldo. I'm the one in the center in this picture. These are friends of mine, people that I've done events with, organized with, done cultural events here in Oakland. And here's a picture of me with my father. As it might have been said, I am an engineering student at San Jose State University in my junior year, and co-owner of Martin's Bay Area Construction. I'm also in the process of starting a pilot for a news outlet in MAM with El Tímpano here in Oakland called Okbal, and as well as a member of a MAM-led youth group called Desarrollo Maya, also based in Oakland, California. And I've been highlighted, I've been shared in stories about my work as an interpreter. I've worked in the courts. I've worked along the border of the US-Mexico border for about 5 or 6 years now. And I've worked with other organizations to train myself and to learn. And I'm in the process of wanting to expand my knowledge of MAM. And it's something that I hold very important because, as I'll get into in my slideshow, I think language is just one of those things that binds us together, and culture that really weaves our emotions, our desires and goals in life together, and to have to want better things for our future. And so one of the events that I want to highlight are 2 events that I did since the 2020. Namely, one of them is Censo Maya, together with my another friend of mine, 2 friends of mine, Carmen Jimenez from Todos Santos and Henry Sales from San Juan Atitan. We put together an event to bring people in to sign up for the US Census in 2020, and this was in around the time of summer of that year. It was around the beginning of the pandemic as well. So it was definitely a challenge, but we had help along the way. We had help from other organizations. And in the course of working together, bringing people together, trying to promote our event, we've coupled our efforts with providing people who had documentation to access workers' compensation, or to access funds that were either given by the state or given by organizations. And this brought a lot of people, and we had success. We had support from one of the many mom churches in Oakland, and we counted about 8,000 people in our census efforts. And along the way, we had challenges. Initially, we worked with the county of Alameda, in which we resided, but because we're Mayan, and because we don't always have the formal organizations, the formal nonprofit status that oftentimes is required to handle certain amounts of money. We had roadblocks in which people didn't trust us to carry this. At one point, the organizers wanted to overlook our efforts, and it just, in the end, it didn't work out. And in the end, they admitted that, we need to trust you and let you do the work. And in doing so, we created probably the very first census in our area that's dedicated to our community, and really helped our community as well through the tough times and brought people together. So in our effort, we counted about 8,000 people of Mayan ancestry. And that's only a fraction of the people that live here, because there could be so many more in the schools and so many other people unaccounted for, and in the surrounding cities as well. So in my estimates, there could be around at least 10,000, 12,000, maybe up to 20,000 Hmong people in the Bay Area alone. Following that event was a presentation, or an event I held for an art contest with the youth in Oakland. And we called this the Maya Mom Art Gallery. And we held this earlier this year. And as you can see, these are posters we made for the winners, but we announced to the community, and we tried to outreach and get people to submit their best work. And it was a very beautiful experience, because all of these were the top two winners. The first one in red in the middle, first place, Ned, second place, Cap, are all made by Hmong people from Oakland. In fact, it was made by two friends of mine, Enrique Ramirez and David Perez Ramos, and there was a second and third and fourth place as well. But I could only fit so much in this screen. But I wanted to highlight these works because, art is also very important, just like how we had poetry before this. It can connect us, it can strengthen our beliefs, it can strengthen our emotions, guide our emotions to work on great things. And yeah, at least one thing I also wanted to highlight before my time is over is some of the efforts that I noted along the way since 2020 is the organization that communities such as mine have been pushing along, especially in film and in broadcasting news, local news. There's an example of Facebook pages that are essentially radio stations today that inform much of our community. And this is just a handful of them. Studios such as Studio Punto Digital and Paraíso TV, located in Todos Santos Cuchumatan, and Radio Balam is another one hosted here in Oakland, California. And I really wanted to highlight these because we found that through the internet, we've been able to connect in ways that transcend, as we're doing now, transcend the physicality of how we tend to operate. And especially for communities like mine, who traditionally have not always had access to the latest technology. You know, it's an advancement for us to be able to share our local news, share the happenings of our communities with one another. And along the way, I hope that it would change and evolve and become something of an outlet for information, because I, as an engineer, am very keen on information. It's very important to me. I've highlighted here a couple of pages from textbooks and other sources that I have about my own history, because for me, I've always had to battle to recollect my history. You know, I don't have 500 years. 500 years for me is gone, and the remainder that there is just bits and parts, collections of theories and just other educated guesses of what my people come from. But at least I can say confidently that, you know, my mom identity is perhaps 2,100 years old or older. And that's, you know, something that a lot of us don't know. A lot of my people, I don't even think really are taught that or told that, or really told the greatness of our history and the, you know, the borders of what was once our territory and our kingdoms are just remnants now. And I try to look for resources and really learn about my past as much as I can, but it's not always easy to find. And for example, this is a text from 1952, I believe, and it just shows it's a anthropological account of my own people, and oftentimes it's people outsiders who come into our communities to try to understand and learn about us, but at the same time always having the perspective of an outsider, and never really someone from the inside explaining the nuances of our culture. But at least for me, these are great resources that, you know, otherwise I wouldn't have. But hopefully in the future, we begin to, as communities such as mine begin to advance, we begin to record our history and begin to hold an account of it. And that way we inform ourselves and inform our descendants and inform our grandchildren, because for us, mom means grandparents. That's what other Mayan villages, other Mayan kingdoms called us in ancient time. They called us the mom, the ancient ones, the grandparents. And in a way, we were the oracles of ancient Mayan civilization. And so I think for me at least, that holds a lot of importance. That holds a lot of weight, to be part of an identity that's a figurehead of knowledge, a figurehead of sabiduría, of wisdom. And so I'd like to proceed forward in showing that to my community, showing it to the people that that are dear to me, and trying to imbue my knowledge as well as a professional, as an engineer, as an interpreter, to keep our progress going forward. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, Oswaldo. Gracias por entrelazarnos como pueblos a través del idioma.
Thank you, Oswaldo. Thank you for linking us through your language, through radio, through your effort as an interpreter, for your community work, and for the memory recovery and historical wisdom. For those of you listening in English, I will now recommend that you mute original audio, and for people listening in Spanish, to turn on original audio. So now it is my great honor to introduce to you Alba Cecilia Mérida, whom is with us today. If she'd like to raise her hand and say hi, we will, of course, give her all our warmest welcome. And Alba Cecilia Mérida is a defender of the territory. She's an anthropologist and a feminist. Cecilia is also a life partner of our dearest Ruben Herrera, founder and of Huehuetenango General People's Assembly, whom we honor today, onwards and forever. Ruben's legacy. Thank you, Cecilia, for being here live with all of us and for sharing your time in this video. Everybody receive a warm welcome, a deep embrace. I am very grateful for what each and every one of you do in defense of the earth. My name is Cecilia Mérida, life partner of Ruben Herrera in Quetzaltenango, Guatemala. And right now I am here with this light and these flowers because Ruben, as a defender of life, what he most enjoyed was human warmth. And I am here accompanied by these stones that hail from the Pojon River, Esquisits, and this water, because Ruben was a tireless defender of nature, of the peoples and the communities of Guatemala. For me, being here today and speak of him represents an opportunity to honor his memory, not only as my life partner, but as the tireless human rights defender that he was since he was a child until the day he died. I have brought these elements with me today because I want to tell you that I feel accompanied by his soul. And because remembering him is also a way of keeping my commitment alive for the profound changes that this country needs. Ruben, since he was a child, opposed injustice. When he was 12, with his schoolmates, where he went to school, he did his first protest for his school. And from that moment on, till the last day of his life, he continued to fight. I'd like to share a quote, or rather a statement that he provided during an interview in Anterina Boleta that was part of Acohuate, when she asked him, so what does resisting mean to you? He said, my political stake has been in the measure that I've learned to resist, meaning when I speak of resistance, I speak of myself and of others. I have spent 50 years resisting, and I will continue to resist. So then that is the way of achieving resistance. We should not be afraid of time or strength. On the contrary, we should learn to be true fighters and continue resisting. That was Ruben, always ready, always willing to accompany the fight. And what better than when he did it hand in hand with others, as the NISGUA did, as each and every one of you has done that knew him. Or maybe you didn't know him, but have heard of him and contributed to our cause and the causes of our people. And maybe, I mean, it wasn't about accompanying Ruben Herrera. No, it was accompanying the cause of the people of Guatemala that to this date continue to resist and continue to fight against the restraints. That spirit of resistance, a fight, is what now shines in the search for a dignified life. Ruben was a man who loved life in every dimension of it. A man that was formed politically, but who what held him together was his spirit. Profoundly human, deeply strong. He was a man that lived, a man that wrote. And Señor Hazen Huehuetenango is interesting to find him. I mean, it wasn't common to find him writing. And so it was to, that's, he wrote his positions, his thoughts, his political ideas. And when he accompanied communities.
With light, water, the stones, is the Alisquisis, because in the last years of his life, he was dedicated to this struggle, the Ixchu fight of the Anjobal people, and the defense of the rivers and defense of the water, and that is why it is here. I was going to share with you some of the lines of what he wrote. It is the first time that I'm going to share some of the things that he wrote. It is not necessarily a political statement, and I looked for it among his papers. It doesn't have a title, but I think that what he's saying is reflecting what Rubén was, an enigmatic man, but he would always convey hope. It reads like this: a place, a crossroad. To your right, uphill, to your left, steep. Behind the clouds encircled you. In front, the only way out. I don't know how long it's been there. Whenever I remember it like this. The first notion of its existence was marked by your footsteps, that I followed it insistence. Mine were less agile, but they always arrived. A straight line, a descent, that stretched between coffee plantations every day. At the end, cobblestone streets that made walking slower. In winter, for an instant, they fixed the footprint of bare feet. In summer, the dry earth turned to dust that the wind picked up and scattered invisible signs. From the footprints, I learned that they were children's feet that became men, and I saw them no more. The union of bare feet with the earth, they were mud. Rivers of clean water, nights of moon, early morning suns, dews in the morning. It is the bond that it is translation, ties us until it is time, and unites us, sets us free. This I learned when I had no need of many things, when I learned that night implied horizontality, when I perceived that with the light of day, it was necessary to get moving. At another time, the restlessness did not let me rest. It no longer let me rest. I had to go out. An explosion came from far away. It came so close as to shake me. Something broke in me. I felt cold. Other needs, new sensations, less water, more thirst. A sea of fears creeping into you, but there are hands that are not yours. They intertwine. It's the warmth of what you're starting to miss, and for the first time you feel alone. Every beginning is an endless journey, constant walking, full of nightmares. The humans do not go so far to guarantee with certainty no to your ravings. Acting allows us to learn. For the roads traveled, there are no returns. In the journey, uncertainty pursues you, which is the mother of sleeplessness. The uncertain roads are the deepest. As I tell you, Rubén was always enigmatic, but he was also very on point to say that the road was made to be traveled. Thank you. Thank you very much, Cecilia, for that beautiful message. Rubén Herrera is here, he lives. And thank you very much, Cecilia, for your inspiring fight that continues to be here with you, with us, and for your feminist fight and your leadership. Hello, everyone. For those of you who know me, I am Edna Sandoval, and I'm the organizer with the NISGUA family. Currently, I am in the Tonga occupied territory in the Bado at the Gabrielino tribe. that is known as Angelino, California. And I am a femme identity, a cis woman. I'm using glasses to be able to see with a turtle material. I am using a wool sweater that is color blue. I have red lips and I have a background that it says Network of Solidarity with the People of Guatemala, NISGUA. And I would like to share with you a little bit on how I started to work with NISGUA, which was at the beginning of this year, and I started to do it remotely. I am not going to lie. When I started to work, I doubted myself on how my role was going to be in becoming part of this in a global crisis, doing remote work and doing remote accompaniment with NISGUA. My apologies. I think we're having some problem with the interpretation. I would just like to confirm that you're able to hear me well with the audio. Yes, I can hear you, Edna. I think that you may continue. Thanks to you. So sorry, technical details, but it was exactly that of what I was thinking about. How is it that we're going to be able to do remote work that is going to cover all the needs that we were answering to before all of this? But I think I came to realize that those doubts were coming from scenarios that were just in my head, because when I met up close with the community that is NISGUA and the support network that exists around us, all of those fears and all of that self-doubt went away. And the reason is that because NISGUA is an organization that is completely founded on root communities. It comes from individual donations. So people like you are the ones who are the foundation of the solidarity of NISGUA. And all of this, it is extremely important because, as you know, and it is something that I have mentioned oftentimes, we need to go away from the NGO industrial complex that is operating through paternalist charity and philanthropy that is based only on performance. And I think that without you, NISGUA wouldn't have the opportunity of following the leadership and having the autonomy of the organizations that we provide support under the terms that the organizations are asking. We couldn't be able to answer to the autonomy of the organizations. And that is why we would like to thank you for your unconditional support, but we would also like to continue to request the constant support for NISGUA, because it is that same support that is going to allow us to continue to work in our accompaniment work and solidarity work that has been over 40 years. And without that support, we couldn't be saying with joyfulness that we are finally opening up the road to be able to start working on our foundation work on our offices at Guatemala. This is something of great importance that is somewhat fearful, yes, but to look at the community today, it is eliminating all of those doubts. Today, we have 107 people who are here. And to be able to continue our work, we need to raise $1,300 at least. We know that not all of the people have the ability to give us $13, $10, but for those who would like to make a donation, for those that can't, that would be the ideal. And that is why on behalf of NISGUA, I would like to request to you if you can make a $20 donation. If that works for you, please. You can access the link that we are sharing on the chat right now. Let me see if I can share it. so that you can provide your donation today. And if you cannot do it today, you can do it tomorrow, next week. You can become part of NISGUA as basis donors, and that would allow us to continue with the work that we're doing. And the contribution that you're providing today, as I mentioned, it is going to be able to make the reopening of a safe comeback into the office in Guatemala. And according to the request and of the counterparts that we work with. And also with your support, you will make possible to have 13 accompaniments on the CAP internalist program that is part of our new cohort for 2022. And so I think it is so important to be able to answer to the request that we have been listening on the remote year that we have been working, and to be able to provide in-person accompaniment in 2022, especially during this context of what is going on in Guatemala, and especially of what we were hoping to be an electoral year with local policy. So it is critical to be able to have solidarity presence there, and that is why we are requesting a donation from you today. One of the groups that we provide support in a very close relationship, it is the group that we already mentioned here. The group that was led by Rubén Herrera is the Huehuetenango Departmental Association. These are our allies on the field. We love them so very much. And to make a transition so that you have an idea of the work that we do and the counterparts that we work with at the basis, I would like to present to you a video that the departmental section from Huehuetenango sent today specifically for this event to provide you a message of solidarity and to share with you. Thank you very much for allowing us to have this space. Members of NISGUA, have a great day. We would like to express the ADH board our joy that is this year that is almost over. We would like to express that the fight of ADH has moved cautiously, because as you know, there's the situation of this very difficult pandemic, and then this goes hand in hand with the governmental policies of corruption. That is where they strengthen the more. And we have put our efforts on moving ahead, on structuring the fights of the people for our territories. And we have been promoting some actions and activities on the framework of the municipal agreement for the protection of the water. And that is where we are advancing. I am from the departmental unit, Huehuetenango, ADH. We are involved very often as women, as youth, because through the participation of this group, we are allowing our rights to be known and how to defend our territories, our water, because water is key. We use it every day in our households, so that is why we are defending it. And we take water as our sacred mother, because that is the one that is providing us life, health, and that is why we are defending it. And currently the participation of women has been visualized and has been constant on providing resistance and fighting. We will continue on the resistance. Good afternoon, everyone. And greetings to everyone who's watching this video at ADH and also the communities. We would like to raise awareness, men, women, youth, community leaders, on how to exercise the municipal agreement. We are very happy to be able to work with them at the schools, at the offices. It is the only way that we're going to be able to move ahead to understand the situation of the water in Huehuetenango. Not to say that at the national level too, but ADH, we have been working and we will continue to work on the next year, 2022. So greetings to everyone brothers and sisters who are going to be watching this NISGUA video, and that is what we could share today with you. In light of the situation that we're going through, the state of Guatemala, the coordinator also mentioned it. They don't care about the well-being of the communities with original people. As ADH, we have started to work from the bases, from the communities, and working specifically on the municipal agreements. That is what we have done on this year. And we hope that everything is going to go well, because in some of the municipalities, we have already achieved the municipal agreement. In others, we are still negotiating. But we would like for the municipalities to have the agreements. And so this is going to become a law from the people. So with this, we're going to continue with our fight upon the municipal agreements, raising awareness on the communities, and strengthening the knowledge of original people. Thank you very much, and greetings to everyone. And finally, I would like to applaud the role of NISGUA to ADH Huehuetenango, Guatemala, because without their international accompaniment, we feel somewhat reduced, but with your support, your accompaniment, and we request once again so that for 2022, you continue to provide us with political, technical, and financial support and accompaniment to continue to defend the Huehuetenango territory. Thank you. Viva ADH. So a round of applause to all of them. Thank you, Edna, for expecting for us to make a donation. Thank you, ADH, for that lively message. Greetings to our NISGUA communities for their community fight and acknowledgement of international accompaniment. Now, please be prepared to this very impressive work of art that is also moving. What is coming up is a video that was put together by Luis Antonio Morales Rodriguez, and I think Luis is among us today. So we would like to greet him. Luis is the interdisciplinary creator. He is interested in performance, political performance, sexuality, and trends in the creation of contemporary scenic arts. He has been active in poetry and theater and also narration. He has published is a Purple Mist or Nothing is Important, A Handful of Scars, and The Dance of the Sad with his editorial. He's a member of the Loca Centroamericanas organization and the Caribbean Odelca, with whom he has published in FEMC and also in public spaces. It is a huge honor to present the video from Luis Antonio Morales Rodriguez.
Desde la diminuta celda que yo
From the
habito,
tiny cell that I inhabit, I already expected God before he decided to create me. Since then, my days suicide by, launching from the stillness of my nest.
corto flores de las manos de
I cut flowers from my grandmother's hand, and I wait between my notebooks. I cut flowers from her hands because everything is temporary, and her breath threatens me. Scattering her thoughts, she tells me, look at all those birds, fainted little birds, while pointing to a sea of dry and shipwrecked leaves. She insists that I look at the wonders that her eyes imagine in the garden. There are swirls of butterflies, she says. I see them. I imagine them, wide-winged, and I fear its fragility, how I fear my grandmother's fragility. Suddenly, Skull's curious. Why do cats wag their tails?
La primera vez que me pinté las
The
uñas,
first time I painted my nails, it was as a child. After helping my grandmother to tidy up her nightstand, I found a nail polish in a drawer. I asked her to help me, and she agreed. Many times I saw her trim her old dresses to make aprons and kitchen towels. She did it with pain, as if each garment told stories. My toddler body finds in the remnants dresses made to measure. I wore them, and with her sewing machine, she finished girding my first dresses.
ahora la vejez
Now old age has made her a little girl again, that wakes up curious in the morning, wondering who I am.
en el desayuno
At breakfast, she laments,
dejé a un bebé solo
I
en la
left a
cama.
baby alone in my bed.
Ese bebé seguro
That
sabe
baby assures
que
me
ya no lo recuerda.
she doesn't
No
remember.
recuerda que crecí.
She doesn't remember that I'm already
A
grown.
mediodía
At
me
noon,
pide sopa
she
caliente
asks me for hot
y
soup.
al terminar de comer
And when she
me
finishes
dice,
eating, she tells me,
"Me pinta las uñas
can you pin my nails,
y nos las
please?
pintamos".
And we paint them.
Cada día
Every
ya
day,
es más de ella.
she's more hers and less mine.
Me despido yo de mis
I say
recuerdos de
goodbye
camarita,
to my fag childhood memories
que solo
as a
ella
weird
recuerda.
child that only she treasured.
Ella se ha despedido
She
de
has
mí
already said goodbye
en
to
versos
me
y cuentos, en los
inadvertently,
remolinos de
in the
mariposas,
swirls of butterflies,
en los pájaros desmayados,
in the fainted
en
birds,
gatos
in
que
cats
mueven la cola.
that wag their tails.
Wow, es como conmovedor cada vez.
Wow, that is moving every time I rewatch this video. And I think in a year with unthinkable losses, we can thank poetry, we can thank art that is building and strengthening our hearts, that is uniting us as communities, and the joy of being together on this fight of this resistance and joy. Thank you, all of you, for this event. It was so impressive. We have another video, but before we go into that, we would deeply like to thank Rosa, Oswaldo, Cecilia, ADH, Luis for sharing his talent and knowledge and wisdom with us. Also, I would like to thank our colleagues from Guinea. We would like to thank Josue, David, Christy, Earl, Todd. We would also like to thank the hosts on the committee of hosts. We would like to thank Sue, Jillian, Amanda, David, Karen, Naomi, Michael, Luis, Paula, and Olivia. Thank you to the interpreters, Rocio and Patricia, and to those who are putting together the subtitles, live. Thank you, Clara, for joining us as a volunteer, the technical team. And that is the NISGUA team that was not even included on the appreciation list, but from the bottom of my heart and our hearts, because this is really a work that is allowing us to be connected in that way. We would like to thank you, Claire, Edith, Isabel, Meredith, Isara. Without all of you, we wouldn't be here today. And finally, 1,000 thanks to all of you, dear members of the NISGUA family. And on behalf of the team and all the work, it is not possible with your support, your participation, your donations, your contributions, the participation of the campaigns, on the feedback of the work that we do, and the support as communities. Again, I take on the mantle of Edna, who said, we would like to request a donation from you to be able to support the important work of continuing to intertwine the communities. The funding of NISGUA is funding for the basis. Over 90% of that work comes from individuals and organizers such as you. So therefore, organization is moving with non-institutional funds, and every penny, every coin that we collect, it is going to be allocated in each part of the work and the counterparts as Guatemala. And like Edna already told us, there's a lot of work to be done in 2022. So yes, I am working on fundraising professionally in finances. And for me, it is a sample of the love. There's nothing more political than money. So to be able to provide financial support to this work, it is really to help to put together that political household for all of us. So thank you very much again for your donations, your contributions. And on the chat again, we see the links for you to be able to support us with a contribution. I don't know if I would dare to ask if somebody has already clicked on the link to provide their contribution. Please raise your hand or make some noise. Jillian, I see Clara's hand. I forgot to become a monthly donor at NISGUA. I am going to do it as soon as we wrap up this call. And thank you again for your continuous support. So dear members of the board, it is there on the chat over and over again to be able to support us. So thank you very much for everybody who's going to contribute tonight. So as we are saying goodbye on the chat, we would like for everybody to share their last remarks on the chat. But before we close, we would like to share with you one last video that has been done by Fernando López, our dear friend. Fernando is a performer, a troubadour, anthropologist, and a social researcher in Guatemala. He is studying a master's degree on ethnomusic on the Limerick University in Ireland. He is the first Guatemalan to be able to have the Stepping Stone Scholarship for non-European students in Ireland. On his own words, this video was filmed and recorded directly from the studio in August 2017 in Guatemala, Central America, together with the jazz fusion band that has the most important musicians in jazz in the country. Thank you, Fernando, and the whole band to be able to share this very important song and video. We would like to thank all of you for your participation today, and we are going to close with a musical performance.
marchan lejos, siguiendo el rumbo migratorio de los azaguanes. Y tardan en volver. Parten, marchan lejos, siguiendo el rumbo migratorio de los azaguanes. Y tardan en y yo me quedo vacío, soñando que cuando vuelvan me llenen como un surtidor en primavera. Y yo me quedo vacío, soñando que cuando vuelvan me llenen como un surtidor en primavera. Miradas parten, marchan lejos con el rumbo migratorio de los azaguanes e tardan em volver. O teu olhar tá indo embora, muito longe. Eu fico cheio de saudade, não tem solução. Você vai demorar. Miradas parten, marchan lejos con el rumbo migratorio de los azaguanes y tardan en volver. Cheio de saudade, não tem solução. Você vai demorar. Tus miradas parten, marchan lejos con el rumbo migratorio de los azaguanes y tardan en volver.
¿Cómo te sentiste ahí en el? ¿No? Sí, está muy fuerte. Ojalá la guitarra se pueda. Cabalito, mi amigo.
Okay, everybody is invited to give their applause, love, cheers. Todos están invitados de dar sus aplausos, sus gritos, sus cantos, sus chiflados.
¡Viva!
¡Viva!
¡Yeah!
Adelante.
Adelante.
Yes.
Solo quiero decir miles de gracias a Bridget como moderatora. Gracias, Bridget. I just want to say thank you so much to Bridget as our moderator. Thank you so much, Bridget. Compañeros, vamos a cerrar la sala ya pronto, entonces nos vamos despidiendo. Comrades, we're going to close the room soon so we can continue saying goodbye. Thank you so much for being here. Miles de gracias por estar aquí.